We're in, we're focused. Everybody focus in, pay attention, please. There's one little step if we remember back to Monday. On 5.1, hi, good morning. If any of your fonts are still pink, there are two ways to fix that. There's the easy way, which is the Adobe Fonts way. In the pop-up, it'll have the way to add it. You can just click the activate font. Or if it's something that you know you activated, just give it a second to kind of catch back up. Drew, your phone should be away since we're live. Who else got their phone out that they shouldn't have? Okay. Fernando, it looks like you have a phone. Is that true? No? Okay. All right. Anyway, we're going to talk about how the other way, the longer form way, the Windows way that you can get a font into your Adobe Illustrator. And these are ones that are not part of Adobe Fonts, but it is okay. And you can get them from sites like defont.com is one of my favorites, but Google also hosts a wide variety of fonts. And this is the way that you get the League Spartan font that you need to, is the last one that you need to acquire in order to have everything you need for 5.2 or 5.1, I mean. So in Google Fonts, you just Google Fonts. It's going to take you to this screen. We're going to look for the font that we want by name. You guys are probably not at a point yet where you know fonts by names or by families, which is okay because we're just getting started. But font tools like this, once you get familiar with some of the aspects that you can search for, the different things about fonts and typography you can find, you can search around and find a pretty wide variety of cool stuff that you can use. But for our intents and purposes, all we want to do is click this Get Font button. Yours might be in light mode. I don't exactly know which default it goes to. But we're going to click the Get Font button. And that's going to take us to this screen with the font family selected. If you're going into web design, you can just get the embed code for your CSS right here. But since we're not working in front end, right now we're doing graphic design, we're going to download all. You can select however many fonts you want or however many font families you want. And it's going to pop open this window right here. It's going to say league_spartan.zip. If you've never worked with a zip file before, another name for these types of files is called an archive. It is a compressed folder that contains a bunch of information in a specific order within it. But you can't access that information until you unzip it, which is also known as extracting. You can kind of think of a zip folder like a closed backpack. You know the information is in there, but you got to unzip it in order to reach into there and actually access that thing that you're trying to find. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. We're going to click on Save File, and we're going to save this file to our graphic design folder in OneDrive, which we definitely checked and made sure was syncing before we started doing anything today. 6-period graphic design, I'm going to make a folder for fonts because in graphic design, you're going to be working with a wide variety of them. And I'm just going to double click once I make that fonts folder, leave the League Spartan zip as it is, and then click Save. It's going to download my zip archive. It's a whopping 600 kilobytes, half of 1 megabyte, ain't nothing. And when you click on Open File from wherever you get your download, or if you are going about it the OneDrive way, my things are massive for some reason. Let's go back down to here. Okay. It's going to have this tiny, now I actually do need to move big. It's going to have a zipper on it. That's our sealed up archive. And you can double click on it. You'll see this extract button at the top right here. It's going to be the pink bar. And if you don't see that, you want to click on the words compressed folder tools. We are looking for this extract all button right here. Let me come on, there we go. Extract all. Let's go back. You can also, if you're looking at the zipped up folder, you can check the box and then middle finger click and then go down to extract all. Maybe it won't let me do that anymore. There we go, extract all, it's the fourth option. I have a program called 7-Zip, which you guys won't have, but these two do the same things. When you click extract all, whether it's the pink button version or the right click version, you're going to be presented with your select a destination window. If you click browse, it's going to pop open the part of the computer that your font is going to be saved to. Right now, if we follow the path, OneDrive 24, semester 2 graphic design into the fonts folder, which is a good spot for it. Oh, that's actually first period. Hi. It's actually first period graphic design. So I want to make sure that that says 6th period graphic design, fonts, and then I'm going to click select folder. Make sure this box that says show extracted files when complete is checked. Click on extract, and it's going to do something. It's going to resize your File Explorer window here. and you're going to be presented with a bunch of new files. Specifically, this one right here is called a TTF file, otherwise known as a true type font file. I have this preview pane open in my file explorer. Yours probably looks a little bit more like this, or maybe a little bit more like this perchance. True type font file, TTFs. These are your more raw, more archaic, less Adobe easy version ways to get fonts onto your computer. And that's the first step, is actually preparing them to get onto your PC. And now we need to plug them into the computer so that they actually start being seen by the different programs. And this works for adding fonts to Word, PowerPoint, any of the other things that use text on a screen. This process will work for. So what you're going to do next, after you've fully extracted your file, and you see that TTF with the fun like little glyphs and symbols on there, click on your Start menu right here and type the word font. You want this font settings box to appear. It's going to have two A's, sans serif A and a regular serif A. When you click on that, you're presented with the fonts window. I'm going to put on this half of the screen, and you should see this dotted gray box area right here. This dotted gray box is where you drag and drop your TTF file. So if I put this guy on the other half of my screen, like this, I'm going to click and drag my TTF file over until it says copy, and then I'm going to let go of my mouse. I already have it, so I'm going to click yes. It's going to think for a second, and it should appear. Let me try again. Yes. Let me see if it worked. It should appear right here, and then when you like refresh or scroll or you type something, it'll refresh and go back into alphabetical order. So you know you've done it correctly is if you click in this search bar on the font settings and you type League, and then League Spartan is going to be right there with a variety of different font faces. So this is a little bit what Mr. Hendricks was talking about, except these only go from thin to bold. So these don't italicize or underline or do anything cool like that. They just make the font from thinner to thicker and increased stroke weight. So a bunch of different options all contained in that TTF file. It's a very cool process. It's definitely something that you will use if you decide you want to go into graphic design outside of high school. So it's a good skill to practice and be aware of. So that's going to get us League Spartan if we look at the agenda for the day. We fixed League Spartan missing. I still cannot figure out, nor can first period, why only bold and thin are appearing on Montserrat. So I'm still looking into that one. If push comes to shove and it's not fixed by Friday, I just won't look at that as part of grading, because I mean, how am I going to grade you on it if we couldn't do it? So don't worry about it for now. Focus on finishing out the rest of 5.1. So if you already opened Illustrator before you did the process of adding League Spartan to your computer, nothing's going to happen until you reopen Illustrator. So you want to save and close. But I haven't opened Illustrator yet. This is the first time I've done it today, actually. If I go into my typography template, you are going to notice if it decides it wants to open. There we go. Well, now Chi doesn't work. What the heck? Okay, I got to figure that out. But League Spartan Bold has made its way into here and it's no longer pink. So this is what your font's going to look like if it's not attached to your Illustrator account, whether that's on your PC in the way we just showed or your Adobe Cloud, Creative Cloud sort of situation. So we're going to try and fix the chi variable missing for me right now. I didn't plan for this, but we stay on our toes here in graphic design. If you open the Creative Cloud desktop app, that is the one that looks like a rainbow cloud. Oh, my crosshairs don't pop up over. But this guy right here, you can scroll down to Manage Fonts, and then this is going to have all the different fonts that you've added from Adobe Fonts, and it's got all their different variations. I've added quite a few, apparently. This is also every font that Adobe has access to inside of the program by default. So let's see what's going on with my chi right here. It says it's got, what was the one it was missing? Chi variable. It's got everything but chi variable. So what we're going to do, go back to Adobe Fonts real quick and see what's going on with that. Oh, it's because I've been signed out, of course. Oh, okay. pull the rug out from underneath me. Chi. And we want chi variable. I must have just added the wrong chi. All right. So as long as your Adobe font's on chi variable, it says remove when you hover over it, then you've got it correctly installed. And when I come back here, it should take a second to add to my account. Now that I've said that, it's not going to do it, and it's going to make me look like a fool. Please. Please let me have chi variable. Let's let's reopen it. Try a different version from first grade. There we go. Hooray, it works now. So if yours still has pink, you want to just save it real quick because it doesn't get rid of the settings that you've made. It just is going to default back to Myriad Pro, the default Adobe font. Once you save and reopen, it should automatically pull what it needs to pull over for the rest of the assignment. So that is what you're working on at the start of today, is finishing up 5.1, making sure you have all of your fonts added, League Spartan, the zip version, and then chi variable, the not zip version. And then at about 2:20, 2:25, we'll start talking about 5.2, and I'll reopen the Zoom room and stuff. So this time is yours. Please use it effectively. I'll be wandering around. Mr. Hendricks's videos can be found in the actual assignment. So if we go to 5.1 here, when we scroll down to video resources, the second one right here is going to give you all the answers to this assignment. Walks you through it step by step. And if you need any extra help, you got neighbors, you got me. There's no shame in asking for help ever. Anyway, cool. Thank you guys for listening. I'll let you get to it. All right. So while you guys are connecting, you can always look at the screen behind me, right? We're going to talk about Project 5.2. And Project 5.2 is due on Friday. So if you're here from Flex, you can continue to work on it. We'll have all of Thursday and all of Friday as well to finish these up. But let's get into what it actually is before we start considering when it is due. So we look at, let me actually go to your thread so that you can see it legit sees. P6. Oh, okay, good. My mic is muted. Sweet. Project 5.2 intro right here. We click on that. It's going to take us to the element of design typography, the typography design challenge. This is due on the 29th, deadline of the 15th, and it is in that projects category. So if you're concerned about your grade, I would focus on this one compared to the assignments or some of the other ones. So we've gone over the idea. I'll let you read through this as you desire. But we've gone over the idea that fonts have a significant impact on the perceptions and the messaging of the designs that you're trying to send, right? There's a couple examples down here of a variety of, certainly they're using fonts, maybe not using it very well, but they're really using it. And you can tell based on this example here that these are communicating things that the original client and the original designer is maybe not intending. That I meant the users, the clients on their end, the people who are interacting with this brand are not quite getting the same message that they are trying to send. So to practice this, you guys will be creating by choosing, or sorry, let me start over. For Project 5.2, you will choose 3 of the following challenges below to complete so you can start practicing and experimenting with typography and type laying and type design in a more creative freedom fashion. So here are your challenge options. You need to pick 3 of these. These are not from ChatGPT, and Mr. Hendricks came up with these. They're not in any level of like difficulty. So it's not level 1 is easy or option 1 is easy, option 9 is hard. They're all about the same. It's just 9 different options that you need to pick 3 of, any that you like. For example's sake, I'm going to pick option 1, 2, and 3. So for Project 5.2, I'm making 3 text-based projects, small ones, but they're focusing on typography. First one is design, oh, that's the second one. First one is design an email signature tag for Batman. The second one is design an entrance sign for a dinosaur zoo. And then finally, design a text-based logo that will go in the letterhead for the law office of Paul J. Walchenbach, right? That's going to be back to the logo assignment, back to the line and the shape assignment. It's going to be helpful for you on this one, even though we are focusing on mostly text-based logos. So before we start doing any designing, you need to get inspired. You need to gather some type of inspiration for the things that you're focusing on. When you gain inspiration, or when you look for inspiration, you also gain dimensions that you can use to that you can work with in your Illustrator document. Sorry, I got thrown off. So email signature design examples, because that's the first option that I'm looking for here. Typically with the phrase design examples or dimensions or other things of that nature, you'll get quick access to things like this, which have the type forward designs. See how long it takes to load. Oh, wow, this is editable. That's cool. But you're building something like this, but for Batman. So the first thing you got to do is do some research, get inspired by some of these layouts that you like just around the Google. You can go the big ones, you can go smaller. Like for example, if you have Mix Bennett as a physics teacher, they have an email signature that is an image, and it's going to be something similar to what you guys are building here. So if I pop this out, here is Mix Bennett's email signature that is text focused as well as taking advantage of some graphic design thinking, right? Visual hierarchy is that thing that I only mentioned by name. We didn't really get into the nitty gritty of it, but you can notice because Mix Bennett's name is much larger than their information, that's going to tell your brain that this is the most important thing that they want you to look at. These other things, because they're of equal size and beneath the larger piece, are the same level of importance, but arranged in a way that makes it really easy to understand. This is where you can really start to see typography kind of flex its muscles a little bit. By creating that visual hierarchy with a large font, that is a different type with this script, type meaning like form as compared to the letters. But the scriptiness, contrasting, if you think back to color, with the more straight-edgedness, more letter type at the bottom here, creates that contrast. It creates something visually interesting as well as taking advantage of some color and some imagery. You're building something like this for Batman if you choose to do option one. So with Batman, you need to come up with a couple of important aspects to include in an email signature, mostly a name. Batman has two names. Well, I mean, as far as we know. So you're going to figure out which information you want to communicate about Batman. Those are typically going to be things like job title, contact information, building or department or thing that they work in. It can have some imagery, you know, all things like this. But to actually set up your artboard, after you've gained some inspiration, you're going to need the dimensions of an email signature or a sandwich board or a letterhead logo dimensions. All you have to Google is the name of the option that you're picking and the dimensions after that. So this one says, this is how you're going to set up your artboard. No more than 650 pixels wide, so a max width of 650 px, and then between 90 to 150 pixels high. So if I were in Illustrator right now and I was making my Batman email signature, I would click on File, New, so that I'm presented with my new document window. You can also, from the home screen, click on the blue New File button right here. And I'm going to make that, it's already set because I use this in first period. Change this drop down from inches to pixels. And we're going to make that 650 pixels wide by 150 pixels tall. This is since we're doing something digitally or RGB color, we'll leave the screen mode, whatever we need it to be, and click create. And that gives us a canvas to work with to create our email signature tag for Batman. I'll do one more example and then I'll let you guys get to it. I have too many tabs open right now, so I'm keep getting confused. Let's look at another option, the second option here, which is an entrance sign for a dinosaur zoo. So you can look up something as simple word for word as entrance sign and then dimensions after that. And that's going to give us, sometimes it's an image, sometimes it's a link to whatever thing they want you to buy. But there we go. We got standard sizes of 3.5 feet by 5 feet. So in Illustrator, because it's a digital file, you can create a 3.5 foot by 5 foot document. So just go 3.5. And then 5 feet wide. Since this is in the physical space, outside of the Digiverse, we're going to go to CMYK color because that's something that people are going to see in person. Click create. It takes up a little bit of space on your screen, but this is 3.5 feet by 5 feet. When you finish your design, it's ready to go to print, and then they will handle a lot of the sizing and things of that nature, but it is accurate to the size that you set. So your job today is to choose your options that you're going to go with. Choose your 3 options from the challenge options here. Figure out those dimensions and gain some inspiration. And then we'll use Thursday and Friday to complete these designs and turn them in by midnight on that day. So if you're still working on 5.1, keep doing that. 5.2 is ready and waiting for you. I would honestly recommend that you start thinking about 5.2 before you finish 5.1 if you're still working on it. But 5.1 does get you introduced to a lot of helpful tools that you can use in your typography design challenge. Make sense? Okay, so you got 20 minutes left, not including Flex. So if you're just in Flex, you can keep working on it, obviously. To get started doing some research, choosing your challenges and thinking about how you're going to approach this. Thank you guys for listening.